Hey, what's up, my fellow Indiana Jones fans? Welcome to this MixelPix one-shot. Today I'm looking at the figures from Wave 3 that I've gotten. These are the 4 figures I think that I'm going to get out of the 6. And they may be the final Adventure Series figures any of us get. This is stated on yakface.com, speculated actually, but speculated with evidence. And as you can see here in this article here about the announcement for Wave 3, in the discussion, the author actually answers a fan here with a number of points that point to this being the last series. Also, Hasbro PulseCon of 2023 did not have any Indiana Jones reveals that I could find, as well as the Hasbro Pulse Premium event. As far as I saw, there was no mention of Indiana Jones or actual product of Indiana Jones. And if you go to HasbroPulse.com, then you'll see that there is no new product actually demonstrated on this page. It's all existing product for waves that have come out or are coming out now. Also on the blog for Pulse, the Indiana Jones checklist has not been updated since it first came out. And you can see here that there are no additions to this list. We don't see any of the Wave 3 characters here. We don't see the Dial of Destiny characters here. So if Hasbro isn't putting any effort into updating this list, and we have all that information from yakface.com, as well as the Hasbro events that haven't put out any hints of new product for Indiana Jones Adventure Series, I think this really may be the last wave, which is sad because there are characters like Mola Ram from Temple of Doom that would be great to have. There are Nazi characters that would be cool to have as part of this. There are, dare I say it, Crystal Skull figures that could be a part of this series as well. But time will tell. I just don't think that it's very likely. All right, on with these 4 characters. As you can see, I have omitted 2 of the characters that are required to build out this artifact of the Grail table. And that's a bummer because I was looking forward to the Grail table, but I'm just not a fan of Dial of Destiny. And these 2 characters that I omitted from this purchase, Ronaldo and Dr. Voller, they didn't do much for me in the movie. The movie itself was not good. DOD for me was DOA. And I just can't really bring myself to pull the trigger just to get the artifact pieces. So that's why you're not seeing them here. So this wave is cool because it finally gives us some Last Crusade characters that, a lot of us probably wanted. I wanted to have Henry Jones Sr. here, Indiana Jones' dad. And getting the Grail Knight is an awesome add, even though the Grail Knight, isn't in a lot of the movie. But just really cool to have that represented. And we get the femme fatale, Dr. Elsa Schneider, from The Last Crusade as well. Let's take a look at Indiana Jones himself first. First up is Indiana Jones from The Last Crusade. This is his Grail Quest costume, where he's out in the desert, I believe, looking for the actual temple. Oh, quick tour of the box first, huh? So we got the front there, nice. We've got this nice art on the side. We've got all the details for the figure on the back, including the accessories and whatnot. We've got the Grail build an artifact, Grail table on the side there. Parts for making it come from every 6 of the characters in this series. And on the bottom, yeah, boring stuff, right? All right. A really nice build an artifact print there on the inside of that box. It's a lot of detail. Wish they would have put that on the actual figure box itself, but that's a cool inside package, little detail there. We got one bag. Aha, we got the figure, comes out the back side there. And there he is. That 5 o'clock shadow doesn't seem to be as prominent here on him here as it is on the package. Moving on. So he's got his holster there. He's got his whip loop here. It's a handy man bag, as always. And he's got his tie. Semi-formal out there in the desert, I guess. Got all these accessories here. His revolver as usual. A couple of the pedestal items here. Yeah. Not sure about all this, but there you go. His accessories. Oops, looks like this is actually supposed to be like that, because that's the way it appears on the package here. All right, so we've got a decent pose for Indy here. Let's see if he'll stand. All right, looking pretty heroic there, and doesn't cut a bad figure, you know, so to speak. Can't say I'm overly thrilled. All this articulation, and he's only got one hand that is actually made to do anything. He's got his right hand that's supposed to be the grip hand for his guns. This left hand is just there. There's no accessory, save maybe putting his a strap in his hand that is actually supposed to go there, or maybe his rolled up bullwhip. Yeah, that'll work. He could do his rolled up bullwhip, but you know, how often is he doing that? Also, this belt leaves a lot to be desired here. Unfortunately, these little rubber latches on the gun, especially, this is better here, but on the gun, I just could not put the gun in the holster. It fits nicely in the holster. Don't get me wrong, but it just does not. I can't get that little nub here on the strap to actually go into the hole to hold this thing closed. So that's a bummer. Also, this lasso will go on this loop, and you can get that loop to attach. However, it doesn't take a lot for this loop to pop loose. So not really impressed with the gun and accessory belt there. The hat is looking pretty cool. He can pull off on the plain Indiana Jones look like he's sleeping. The hat can go back on his head so that it's riding high like he's on his horse. And you wouldn't think much of this articulation until you actually play with the figure, because the hat is loose, which makes you go, oh, does it come off? And no, it doesn't really come off. And that's because if you twist this to the side, you find out he's got this T-shaped knob on his head, and this is a look for Indy that nobody wanted. Although that looks a lot like him as Decker in Blade Runner, aside from the baldness, of course. But, you know, maybe you want this for Decker. Yeah, that's just, you know, what is he, Indy the Pinhead? So it's got this tab and slot system here in the hat that allows you to slide the hat back and forth on the head. Why didn't they just make it a removable hat? I don't know. They thought it was a good idea, I guess. But it will sit securely on his head, so there you are. Indy and the Last Crusade. I think this guy could really benefit from an ab crunch, which he does not have. He's got this movable tie, but no ab crunch. He's just got a waist swivel and, you know, incline, decline. And unfortunately, I think that's going to hamper the posability that you might want to do with him. There you go. Indiana Jones, Last Crusade, on his way to the temple, looking for the Grail. One point of articulation that I would like to mention about Indy that I found to be, inadequate was his shoulder reach. Oh wait, I am wrong. Holy cow! Now how about this arm? I don't know about this arm. Why won't this arm go up? Oh wow. Okay, well this arm and this arm were both sticking down like this for me, but now I've been able to get this arm up at a 90. And now after having wrenched on his arm, I've been able to get this arm up to pretty much a 90. I don't know, do you agree with me? Is that a 90? Yeah, that'll do. But there is not a satisfying snap like there was here. There versus nothing. Except just kind of wrench it in place. Ah, I think I felt it. Okay. Well, I'm glad I tried that because that was bumming me out. So, never mind. His articulation in the shoulders is decent. It's actually good. However, this arm is kind of loose compared to this one. This has got a snap and then a snap. This one has a push and then a push and a little bit of a snap there. All right, now you know. Now let's have a look at Dr. Elsa Snyder from the Grail scene. All right, talk about a woman that wasn't Marion, as Indiana Jones said in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This lady is as far from Marion as you can get. She is a Nazi. All right. Tour the box here. Got her accessories on the back. Art there. Got all the build and artifact stuff on the side, what she comes with. And same boring stuff on the bottom. And same scenario as Indy with the build and artifact print there. There's the accessories, there's the character. All right, there she is. Now, I don't know about you, but that does not really look like the character to me, at least not off camera. Didn't exactly nail the sculpt on this one. I'm not sure why they just couldn't give her a different hat to wear. Well, okay, she's got the hairdo, never mind. But there's her alternate head. She's got the false Grail. She's got her goggles for her afternoon tank ride. Oh, I'm sorry, she wasn't in the tank. She was in the commander vehicle or whatever it was. And the same kind of parts to the Grail table as Indy's got. Now this does look pretty darn cool. Look at that. It's got the gemstones in there. That green paint detail is nice. And this gold color is good too. Reflective. Would have been really cool if they had actually vac metallized this, but it does look nice. B-roll for her goggles. So there she is doing what she does. She doesn't look too bad doing it, but I don't think she looks like the character. So that really kind of ruins it for me. but she's there holding that Grail, false Grail cup. You know, the plastic that they use is very bendy, so as you can possibly see here, the cup is a little bent in her hand, but you know, you hide it in a certain perspective and you don't really notice it, so not bad. She's got some interesting choices for articulation in the wrists. So this hand can actually do the limp wrist, or rather flexion and contraction of the wrist, which is normal. In order to give her a good cup hand, though, this hand is actually not articulated like that. This hand is not articulated to bend down and up. It's articulated to bend, this way. So, as opposed to this hand, which is articulated like that. One hand bends on the flat of the hand, the other bends on the thin part, the thumb part of the hand. So, different articulation per hand, and that allows her to have that cup grip, which is not bad if that's what you're going to go for. And more than likely, that's what most of us are going for, because we don't have anything else that she is going to do. She's not necessarily holding a gun or anything. That hand is flexible enough to hold that cup nicely. So there's Dr. Elsa Schneider. Let's pop on her other head just to see how that looks. Word to the wise, when you change out heads, you may pull her neck off. And her other head does need a neck. So, yes, we're going to have to take that neck. Aha! This is a little tricky. If you want her to wear the goggles, you're going to have to take her head off so that these can slip on her neck, because they're not going to fit over her hat, or at least not down over her hat to her neck. So, yeah. I don't know if I should be recommending this, but I was able to fit those goggles onto the hat so you can give it that, you know, desert hat and goggles look. Be careful when stretching that band. I didn't break it, but you might. Please don't take it on my authority that that is really what it's meant for. But that look can be achieved. And here she is with the goggles around her neck. And here Elsa is with her desert touring look. Always chic. She doesn't mind if you're doing evil, as long as she looks good while you're doing it. Couple of articulation notes. Her shoulders do flex up past 90 degrees, so that's flexible. Her shins actually twist at the boot. So you have more articulation there. You've got the bend in the knee. You've got a hip that rotates at the hip joint, but not at the thigh. So maybe the boot was meant to accommodate for the fact that the thigh doesn't rotate aside from here at the hip, and that's limited. So there you are. No, well, she has an ab crunch only because her waistline is her ab crunch. Otherwise, she just twists and bends with no additional waist swivel. All right, there she is. And the Grail Knight. Quick look at the package. We got some good photography here on the front and some art. There you go. There's the side. Kind of interesting. He's looking out of the side of his eye. Guess that's pulled directly from a still frame from the movie. And then we've got all his stuff on the back here. There we go. The other characters in the wave. And the same old junk at the bottom. All right. Same packaging. And the figure. Oh, no, that's the figure. Excuse me. And the accessory stuff. All right. Oh, his head comes right off out of the package. There we go. There's the figure. Looking nice. Got a hole in his back. Why does he have a hole in his back? Huh. All right. The accessories. Oh, there goes something. Oh, cape, sword, other stuff. Make sure I got everything. How could I forget about the multiple grails? This sword actually comes out of its scabbard. That's really cool. Nice detailing on it, looks like. Good paint app. And the various grails. Here's the real one. And here's some of the fake ones. And then an hors d'oeuvre tray. No, just kidding. Some kind of shield. And talk about keeping the flame. Quite literally, keeping the flame. And there's his cape. And oh, his cape has got a peg to go into his back so it stays on him, I guess. Why is that necessary? Whatever. Looks nice. Nice texture. And yeah, cool little tie here for the front. The Last Crusade Grail Knight, some assembly required. All right, so I wanted to see what kind of poses I could get this guy into because he's got all this robe wear and stuff, you know. I figure his cloak isn't going to be that good for much except for standing there. So I was interested to see what kind of poses I could get him into, and I thought, well, you know, hey, let's see about a kneeling pose because he's supposed to be a Holy Grail Knight, right? So he's supposed to be a religious person. So there he is. Unfortunately, I can't get his head to bend enough to really look like he's praying from this angle, you know. But you know, from the side, I mean, that looks pretty religious. Can definitely see that his eyes are still open though. But there you go. That's one pose. Let's see about another one. And here he is drawing his sword. So yeah, he has a good pose there. He does have articulation in the thighs. So like all the other figures, or most of the other figures, there's a thigh articulation. There's the knee articulation. There's quite a bit of, well, a kind of sketchy feeling ankle articulation. But yeah, some really good articulation here for what he is. But let's see what else we can do with him. And how about when he brandishes his sword and he almost falls over? Not bad, not bad. He could use a little bit more articulation, I think, at the waist. An ab crunch would be possibly good if they could do that. The head articulation definitely leaves something to be desired. And also the wrist articulation. Surprisingly, whereas Elsa has that one wrist that bends, you know, forward like this guy's only bend like this. So I think this guy, in order to hold his sword, really could have benefited from having a multi-swivel wrist. Or at least had the wrist swivel that could go like this and hold the sword with a bent wrist like that. That's my 2 cents on that. Another thing about him is that his head articulation definitely leaves something to be desired. He can bend up a little. He can bend down some. Turning, I really would like him to be able to do a flat head turn and not have to crane his neck. But basically, you have to kind of crane his neck because his neck just wants to turn at an angle when you pivot the head because of this chainmail headpiece he's got. So, That could be better, so that when you turn his head, he doesn't have to. Well, that's the other thing that happens, is that his head pops off quite easily when you turn his head. There's not a whole lot in the bottom of this thing. It just goes all the way up to the top there, and that's where the ball sits. And there's not a lot grasping that head, I guess. And you know, it's just a lot of plastic to try to maneuver a head around. So that could be better. And then tilting his head down, like I already showed you when he was praying, leaves something to be desired. The head doesn't bow enough for a prayer position. All right, so that's the knight. Oh, what am I saying? Got to see him in his cloak, right? So my pose is kind of the opposite of the pose on the box here, where he's got his right hand lifted. But, you know, hey, it's a good way to test out posability, right? So that that shroud, that cape, makes him want to pitch forward, which is not great. There you go, after a fashion. But that sword, he really has to hold that sword by the top for it to hit the ground. But there you go. You know, you can achieve that look. You just got to position his feet a little bit more under him so that he doesn't look like he's going to pitch forward. There you are. Not a bad deal. Still, there's a lot to be desired in this character. He can't sit down with his robe on. He can't kneel with his robe on. His head has limited head articulation. His wrists could use more articulation as well. But really, what are we doing with these things most of the time? And that's most of the time we're just making them little statues, right, on display. But it does limit some of those display options. And last but not least, Indy's father, Henry Jones Sr. And this guy just oozed personality like so many of the other characters in the original Indiana Jones trilogy. Such a great addition of an actor to the Indiana Jones world. Unfortunately passed now, but the great Sean Connery. And such an awesome character too, Henry Jones Sr., Indiana Jones' dad. So here's the package. The front, the side with some art on there. There you go, Mr. Connery himself. Back with his accessories. Other side with the build an artifact and the other characters in this wave. And the bottom, boring bottom there. There we are, like the others. Artifact stuff. And figure. All right, figure. There he is. Looking dashing despite the boldness. And yeah, like I'm going to get him to stand right out of the box, right? The accessories. Come on, umbrella. There we go. The umbrella for the fella. All right, more Grail table items. Another flame. Another hors d'oeuvre tray. Aha. His signature cap. Trusty suitcase. Grail diary. And his specs. All right. All right, a little bit of a riff here on what's on the box as far as the pose is concerned. And we've got the real thing right there. And he does his job. I mean, those glasses, especially those glasses, I was surprised at how well they fit him underneath this hat. They do fit him really nicely. The face sculpt is really, really nice. I think they do a good job of capturing the essence of Sean Connery in this role. And this hat just fits him perfectly as well and really completes that look for Henry Jones Sr. The only other accessory that he doesn't have here is his Grail diary, which, I guess could go in either of those hands. This hand here does seem like it was made to hold a gun, so you can give him a little bit of an action moment on your shelf. This hand, the left hand, wasn't really holding the suitcase very well, that handle. It is kind of a complaint that I'm having about some of these hands on these figures, is that they're really made for one thing and one thing only. Or maybe just a couple things, but they're not ambidextrous, So that's kind of a bummer. Let's see if we can get him into some kind of dynamic pose. And how about that time on the beach when he had single-handedly brought down that German fighter plane, and he said something to the effect of, "Let the rocks and trees be my army and the birds in the sky." And totally blew Indy's mind. So there you go. Does an okay job. Okay, one word to the wise about the build and artifact. These two pedestals down here are not all one piece. They come out in 3 pieces, believe it or not. So you start with this base piece here, which, if you're not going to use it for the Grail table, could double as a planter box for your 6-inch figures. So you've got 2 of these. You've got these insert things, which actually give the planter its height. And pay attention to the shape of these, because there's this shape, and then there is this shape. So as you can see, they are 2 different shapes. And that is important because the pedestal tops follow those same shapes. So, word to the wise, when you do get these 2 pieces together, they are difficult to get back out if you've made a mistake like I did by not putting the pedestal lip on here first before you seal it with this block. I was able to use a pot of boiling water, and since the bottom pedestal part is a hard rubber, it softened up really quick, and I was able to pull the insert out. The insert itself is a hard plastic, and I don't think you're going to have much luck softening that up. I tried to pry the whole piece apart and wasn't able to do that without heating this up in boiling water first. So don't be fooled by the very simple instructions here and the idea that, hey, this is a toy, it should be able to come back apart and be put back together. And wouldn't they tell you if there was something where you might actually get yourself into some trouble in trying to assemble this thing? But these are the instructions, and they don't get that specific. So there you are. 1 rim around this piece, and 1 rim around this piece. And the good part about this is that these are angled so that, at least this one was, that you can't fit it to this thing in the wrong position. So there you go. And you have 1 pedestal now, and you have your 2nd pedestal now. There you go. Word to the wise. All right, as you can see here, and as you've seen on the packaging, these characters look good in photos. I'm a little sour on the whole Indiana Jones thing at the moment because Dial of Destiny did not pan out to be a great movie. Kind of put a really bad ending for me on the whole series. But these characters look good. They're going to look good on the shelf. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope you have enjoyed the Indiana Jones Adventure series up until now. And maybe we haven't seen the end of it, but I'm thinking we probably really have. But I might want some more if they actually did come out with Crystal Skull, even though I'm not a big fan of the Crystal Skull movie. It does have some cool characters. I've watched it again, and it wasn't as bad as I had originally remembered it. It's still not a great movie, I don't think, but it's a lot more Indiana Jones than Dial of Destiny, which I'm surprised to hear myself say. So there you have it. 4 out of the 6 characters from Indiana Jones Adventure Series Wave 3. That's the 6-inch action figures. And I really don't care about Ronaldo or Dr. Jurgen Voller from Dial of Destiny. I don't think they really do much to enhance the legend, the world of Indiana Jones much. They're both pretty flat characters. Ronaldo is unfortunately cast with a very cool actor, but there's just no depth that Ronaldo brings to it. The story doesn't give him any character really. I expected more from that appearance, that there should be some kind of more personal significance for Indiana Jones. Because these adventures were, in part about the people that he knew and the friends that he had made along the way on his adventures, right? And revisiting those people because of his previous adventures. It added more depth to the story of his life, of his character. All right, so enough about that. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see in the adventure series that hasn't been done yet. I'd love to have Willie Scott. I'd love to have Mola Ram. I'd even like to have Kate Blanchett's Russian character from Crystal Skull. So yeah, leave those in the comments below, and thanks for watching. If you've liked this video, then please give me a thumbs up. And if you enjoy this kind of video content, then hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell as well so that you get notified anytime a new video comes out here on the MixelPix channel. Until next time, happy collecting and adventure on.